Whatever your opinion of Bill Gates may be, there's one thing you simply cannot dispute. He has a great mind. He's astute in both business and investing. When he was younger, he became friends with Warren Buffett and adopted some of Buffett's frameworks: investments in the stock market, purchasing high-quality companies at competitive rates, and a year-long decline in the stock market. Gates has been taking advantage of this to increase his stock portfolio and increase his stock purchases. Fortunately, he's legally compelled to reveal the stocks that he's purchasing at his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, even though we are unable to currently view the personal equities that he's purchasing for himself. He had purchased 13 equities with the trust over the course of the past year, but only 5 of those stocks represented a sizable portion of his portfolio. Let's not concentrate on those other 8 since they were all below 1%. Hey, welcome to Stock Market Mate. Today we'll talk about the top 5 stocks that Bill Gates is buying. Before we get into it, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you're done with that, then let's get right into it. Number 1. Microsoft Corp. The most logical way to begin investing like Bill Gates is by purchasing shares of the business that initially made Gates wealthy. We thought this was really fascinating. His own business, which he founded so many years ago, was his largest holding. Even so, he continues to reinvest his own business today. Despite his decreased involvement at Microsoft, Gates is still thought to hold a share worth around $28 billion, or about 1% of the corporation. The largest holding of the Gates Foundation Trust is Microsoft. More than 39.26 million Microsoft shares, valued at $9.14 billion, are held by the trust. Microsoft announced remarkable 10.6% revenue growth in the third quarter, which is still quite impressive for a $1.8 trillion firm. He's still investing in Microsoft shares, as we've mentioned, and this is the same company he sold his interest in the late 1990s tech bubble. He's currently reinvesting in that stock in order to diversify his portfolio and purchase other stocks. Microsoft continues to enjoy Bill Gates' support. Before we continue, we should note that Michael Larson is the Chief Investment Officer of the Bill and Melinda Gates Trust. As such, he is likely making many of these investment decisions, but Gates chose Larson, and we are confident that they regularly discuss the various investments they acquire for the trust. Microsoft is now the second largest corporation in the world. It has $1.8 trillion market capitalization. Number 2. Canadian National Railway Company. The 4th largest railroad in North America is Canadian National Railway. It is stated in a 13D filing with the US, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission in July. Gates, the Gates Foundation, and Cascade collectively own 64,360,928 shares of CNI stock, which are currently worth more than $7.8 billion. Additionally, the total value of such securities equates to a 9.3% ownership share in Canadian National. Canadian National Railway announced earnings for the third quarter of 2022 on October 25. The company reported earnings per share of 2.13 Canadian dollars, exceeding market expectations by 0.12 Canadian dollars. The total revenue for the time period was 4.51 billion Canadian dollars, exceeding market expectations by $190 Canadian million and increasing by 25.6% over the same period in the previous year. According to required filings, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust held 17% of the company's stock at the end of the third quarter of 2022, or more than 54 million shares valued at more than $5.9 billion. In July 2022, Gates donated 44.5 million of those Canadian National shares to the Gates Foundation, leaving him with around a 14% ownership position in the business. Gates previously sold CNI stock for more than $1.6 billion back in 2022. Number 3. Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. Warren Buffett, a fellow billionaire and a pillar of Wall Street, owns the holding company Berkshire Hathaway. Worldwide, Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated operates in the insurance, freight rail, and utilities sector. On September 21, Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated shares were raised by Edward Jones analyst James Shanahan from hold to buy. According to the most recent data, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust owns 23% of the company's stock, or more than 29 million shares, valued at more than $7.9 billion. By the end of the third quarter of 2022, 104 hedge funds in Insider Monkey's database has interest in Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated worth $15 billion, down from 109 hedge funds with stakes worth $17.3 billion the quarter before. The Gates Foundation Trust's second largest stock position is in this company. About 29.6 million shares of BRKB stock, valued at more than $7.9 billion, are held by the trust. Microsoft and Berkshire together account for more than 50% of the trust's holdings. Since 2006, when he announced his intention to eventually contribute 99% of his net fortune and all of his Berkshire stock, Buffett has made annual contributions to the Gates Foundation. In June 2022, Buffett gave 14.4 million shares of BRKB stock. Number 4. Waste Management Incorporated. Residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal clients of trash management can take use of their waste management environmental services. The Gates Foundation made its initial investment in waste management in the third quarter of 2002, and since then the stock has produced a total return of about 1,000%. On October 26, Waste Management released financial results for the third quarter of 2022. The company reported earnings per share of $1.56, which was $0.04 more than the market expectation. The total revenue for the time period was $5.08 billion, exceeding market expectations by $20 million and increasing by 8.8% over the same period previous year. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust owned more than 35 million shares in the company at the end of September 2022, valued at $5.6 billion, making up 16.6% of the portfolio, according to the most recent 13F data. In keeping with the environmental objectives of the Gates Foundation, Waste Management operates one of the largest recycling facilities in the world. 7.7 million tons of paper and 502,459 tons of plastic were two of the 15.3 million tons of commodities recycled by Waste Management in 2021. The 352 million shares of WM stock that the Gates Foundation owns are worth approximately $5.64 billion. Number 5. Deere & Company. The leading manufacturer of the farm equipment worldwide is Deere. In addition to giving the Gates Foundation shares in Canadian National, Gates also gave the organization more than 3 million Deere shares worth $955 million at the same time. Gates stated that he, Cascade, and the Gates Foundation had a combined 23,689,657 shares of Deere stock, valued at more than $9.6 billion at today's values, in a second July 13 filing with the SEC. These shares together account for 7.8% of Deere's equity. Through November 18, DE stock generated a total return of 22% for Gates in 2022, which includes dividends. A bear market outperformance like that is significant. On October 13, Deere & Company announced that it would start producing harvesters in the United States rather than China, for which it would invest $29.8 million. In Thibodaux, Louisiana, where the company has a growing manufacturing, 70 positions are being added. At the end of the third quarter of 2022, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust had about 3.9 million shares in the company valued at $1.3 billion, accounting for 3.84% of the portfolio, according to required filings. On November 17, Deutsche Bank analyst Nicole DeBlaise kept the stock of Deere & Company in a hold rating and increased the price target to $374 from $365, stating that the advice anticipated the fiscal year 2023 guidance above consensus. With 1.4 million shares valued at more than $4.96 million. Chicago-based investment company Citadel Investment Group is one of the largest shareholders in Deere & Company among the hedge funds Insider Monkey's monitoring. Asset management company ClearBridge Investments featured a few stocks in its Q3 2022 investor letter, and Deere & Company is one of them. The fund stated the following: "Well, that's about it for today's video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If you found this video helpful, kindly click the like and subscribe button." Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to watch one of these two videos right here. Enjoy!